It is an adventure, and you're in the land of adventure.
My name is Nosler, and I'm proud to be a Magnum Hunt Club member.
I mean, this hunt is like the bungee jump of hunting. I'm James Brion, president of the Magnum Hunt Club.
In New Zealand, stunning scenery abounds as it's home to some of the world's most amazing wildlife. This week, Team Magnum's James Brion and Magnum Hunt Club member John Nosler travel below the equator in search of some of the monster red stags that Magnum preferred outfitter Gary Herbert is famous for producing. This is Nosler's Magnum TV.
The opportunities in New Zealand for hunting vary. You can be a novice and completely enjoy yourself, or you can be an absolute extreme adventure type hunter and get everything out of it. In one day you can be down in the valleys hunting stag. That afternoon you can be up in the mountains hunting tahr and chamois. It offers everything, and regardless of skill level, it offers every type of adventure for a hunter.
New Zealand really is a place unlike any other. It's the land of adventure. My primary objective was to take a very nice red stag, but also to experience some of the extreme mountain hunting that New Zealand is so famous for.
The build up to the helicopter hunt, I will not lie to you, I'm not a particular fan of flying, and I was reassured by everybody that this would be the most exciting part of the entire adventure down here. Once I got in, I was fine. All the jitters went away. Gary has, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, the finest helicopter pilot for tahr and chamois around. I never thought in a million years that I would see that steep, that rugged of terrain. I didn't anticipate something like that, and I never anticipated there was an animal on Earth that could survive up there, let alone flourish.
It was absolutely stunning and absolutely vertical. It was an experience that is worth the trip over, if for no other reason, to travel to this country to experience that type of a hunt. Truly magnificent, a little bit scary, but worth every bit of it. Adrenaline rush to the hills. When we did spot animals, it was game on.
There's so much going on here. The adrenaline is pumping constantly. And it's nice to have a pro with you to remind you to stay in line.
Awesome.
Wow.
Boy, the show was on at that point. Gary Herbert's personality, I saw him this week from host to entertainer to professional, safety conscious. outfitter up in the high country. It was really a unique experience.
Beautiful animals.
I mean, this hunt is like the bungee jump of hunting.
Now that's New Zealand hunting. Not bad, huh?
You know, if I were to try to convince somebody to experience what I experienced on the mountain hunt, I'd be very honest. You know, I hate flying, and I thought it was the greatest adventure I've ever had.
Awesome, eh?
I would just remind them that it is an adventure and you're in the land of adventure.
Nosler's Magnum TV is brought to you by Nosler, Load Nosler, Own the Shots, and by Nikon, Dunham's High Caliber Ranch, Gobble and Grunt Outfitters, the NRA ILA, and Thompson Center Arms, America's master gunmaker. This portion of Nosler's Magnum TV is brought to you by Gobble and Grunt Outfitters.
I decided to go after a fallow deer after about the first 10 seconds I saw one. They are absolutely spectacular. Combination moose, whitetail, axis deer, all of the above. It was quite an experience. Really nice palmation. Pretty good eye guards, but they're very wary. They know what's going on. They will try to hide themselves and bed themselves down to the point where you can't see them. Or they'll bust some brush and get out of there. It's an interesting animal to hunt. Everyone's different. What intrigued me was the different patterns on the paddles. You had, long points. You had worn down points. You had the big paddles. You had the huge eye guard. You had everything. Like I said, it's a lot like a moose in the sense that you're gauging something in a paddle formation rather than straight point.
Pretty good. It's got very good brow tines, second above average. There's guard tines, ones at the back. They're really good as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nice palms, good points in the top and through the back.
He's just sitting up top looking at us. Like I said earlier, I appreciate that you found the one at the highest point. No. When Marcus pointed out the two on the very top of the hill, in my head I'm thinking, here we go again, long hike, and try to get to the top of these things, and they're gonna catch us way before we catch them. The first thing that crossed my mind was I'm not hunting a deer, I'm hunting a sheep. How steep it was. It was extremely windy up top as well. I was shocked that the fallow were up that high. It was an interesting shot. I've never had to take a shot like that before, where it was such a steep decline. Luckily, I was reminded to drop my crosshairs a few inches. But I was absolutely shocked at the area they were in, the vantage point that we had. I had to move around quite a bit to get the right angle because it was such a steep decline. After I pulled the trigger, that fallow deer took an incredible amount of force, and they are a tough animal.
Oh, we better go and have a look at this big
Yes,
guy.
we should. Oh, Accubon, baby. Quite a remarkable hunt, and it's quite a remarkable animal if you look at the palmations of the antlers and just the body style. It's similar to our mule deer or heavy whitetail in terms of body style. But what a great hunt in New Zealand. You got to come down here, hunt with Gary Herbert. This is the way to go. Accubon advantage, can't say enough. I'm almost speechless.
Stag's right over the hill.
This portion of Nosler's Magnum TV is brought to you by Dunham's High Caliber Ranch.
You know, I'd been carrying a camera around all week, and we filmed all kinds of great stuff here at Gary Herbert's place. Towards the end of the hunt, it was my turn, and I was on trigger. And of course, that's always exciting. You really have to change modes. Boy, right when we got into the hunting area, there was a beautiful red stag right there to greet us. 5 minutes later, we had spotted a nice bull elk.
Wrong species.
A couple, 3 weeks from now, he'll be fighting and bugling. This countryside will light up. No sooner was that over, and we heard roars behind us, right where we had come from. Well, he's got all his kickers too. Well, that's a good stag. He had a nice big heavy crown, just like I like, lots of points. He even had a little kicker coming off the side. I'd like to get a closer look at that one. What do you think, Brett?
We'll just let him calm down for a wee bit because he pretty winded us pretty good.
Okay.
So I think we'll maybe head up the right hand valley here and try and get above him, bit upwind from him, and see if we can't get another look at him.
What'd you think of him size-wise?
He's actually quite a nice stag. It was a brief look we got at him, especially with a little kicker. And
Yeah.
I like it when the hunter gets excited. That's a good thing.
You could tell my heart was
That's a
beating
good
a little
thing.
bit. Yeah,
It's a
okay.
very good thing. So
Yeah, all right.
we want to get a good look at him.
Okay.
We might try and have to do something about that.
All right. Let's go take a look. We were headed up the creek, and pretty soon we busted some animals. And those animals had just come out of a big waller. There was 5 or 6 in a bachelor group.
He is big. The one on the left, I like. Decisions, okay.
You know, one of those animals in that bachelor group was a big, wide, I'm sure very high scoring stag, but his antler configuration was very elky, and sounds petty, but believe it or not, I passed him up for that reason. Being from Montana, you know, I'm used to seeing elk, and I wanted something to look different than an elk. Typical red stag, you know, with some crown on top and nice heavy horns, and so we kept looking.
Get out of here. Everything's steep here.
This portion of Nosler's Magnum TV is brought to you by the Magnum Hunt Club.
Rob Dunham from the Magnum Hunt Club. Here's an important message that every hunter needs to hear.
When we're out enjoying our right to hunt, it's easy to forget about what's happening in Washington, D.C. But just because you're not thinking about the politicians doesn't mean they're not thinking about you. They are always up to something. And if you're not happy with what they're up to, please listen to this message from my friend Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris, fact number 235. Contrary to popular belief, America is not a democracy. It's a Chuck-tatorship.
I always get a kick out of those Chuckisms. But of course I can't decide alone how the country is run. If you're worried about the direction our country is going, you're in good company. Too many people have forgotten our nation was founded to protect freedom, like our Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. Freedom is not about what government can do for us, but about keeping government from doing things to us. There's only one way to protect our freedoms, by voting for the candidates who support them. I hope you won't be missing in action on Election Day. Register to vote. I'm Chuck Norris, and I approve this message.
For more information, go to triggerthevote.org.
Stalked these two stags, bedded in the rocks and the brush. And we got in this big grassy stuff, found two more stags. One of them we think is better than either of those other two. So it's gonna be a tough stalk. We got one of them looking right at us. We're gonna sneak through this grass and see if we can pull it off. It's not gonna be easy. What do you think? Should we give it a try? Didn't think it was a try. Okay, it's a big, big stag. Let's go.
Nice having some kind of a terrain. We had no terrain, so we had bunch grass. And so we just went from bunch grass to bunch grass until we got within range. And we set up about 100 yards from him. Put my gun down into the grass and got him in the scope, and I saw that smaller stag bedded perfectly in front of the larger stag. And of course I wanted the larger stag, and I could just see it being an unsafe situation. If both of them stood up together, they were going to be lined up. And then if they started parting ways, they were going to go to the left or the right and be behind another clump of bunch grass. Finally, that smaller stag stepped up, and of course you know when the first one gets up and leaves, it's only a matter of time before the other stag gets out of his bed.
Say again. Okay. Check in. Is he up? Yep. Whew, all right.
Nice shot. That worked awesome.
Oh.
And I guess what was going through my mind right then was, this is New Zealand. We planned it, we got here, we made it, we did it. And we had a wonderful time in the land of adventure.
Gary has just put on a first-class deal. We've all enjoyed it. We put the E-tip to the test and the Model 48. It has definitely been a winner, and so is
so is this hunt here in New Zealand. First trip to New Zealand, never ever forget it.
Hope not. Not with something like that hanging on your wall.
Appreciate it, Brett.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. For anybody thinking about going to New Zealand, what I would tell them is, you know, go, plan on getting a red stag, but take a look at all the other species that are here. There's a ton of different animals that you can hunt. And especially, do not overlook those high mountain hunts. The Tahr, the chamois are an experience like you will not find any other place.
New Zealand certainly left its mark on James and John. The vistas were spectacular, but the hunting was even better. New Zealand was more than either hunter could have asked for, and I'm sure they'll return in the near future. In fact, Team Magnum will be leading a hosted hunt with Gary Herbert next year, a hunt of a lifetime that you can participate in. Join us next week for another amazing adventure with the Magnum Hunt Club. Until then, I'm Chris Cox with the National Rifle Association, protecting our Second Amendment rights and hunting heritage.
Nosler's Magnum TV is brought to you by Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearms, accessories, and gunsmithing tools, and by Nosler, Dunham's High Caliber Ranch, OutfittersRating.com, and the Magnum Hunt Club. Your adventure is our business. Closed captioning is brought to you by the NRA ILA.
A world-class adventure like this may be closer than you think. The Magnum Rewards program helps you earn your way to your next adventure. Find out more at MagnumHuntClub.com. Your adventure is our business.